Well, Pep, you've ended the run of defeats. That's one thing. But tonight, does it feel like a defeat in its way?
Right.
What got away from you?
No, we give away the action, so in that level, so the game was fine, 3-0 and playing good, and we didn't concede much, but after we concede a lot of goals because we are not stable, we give them the first and the other one, so, and that's why it's difficult.
I saw your pain when the first goal was conceded. Did you sense it could potentially get away?
Yeah, because we lost a lot of games lately, we are fragile, and of course we need a victory, and the game was good for the confidence, we playing good level, and for the first time something happened, we have problems.
Is that a mental fragility, do you think, most of all?
No, I don't know, but mentally it's a question of technique. So the first goal cannot happen, and the second as well. So that's why, and after that, of course, so we forget to happen. We are desperate to win, desperate to do well. We do well, but we don't win games.
Yeah, normally your game management is so good, and that seemed to go as well from a lot of players.
Yeah, that is the feeling that we have, but the situation is what it is.
On the positive side, and you take that 3-0 lead. Haaland scoring again, Rico Lewis an outstanding performance. Are those things you can lean into?
No, there are a lot of good things, but after where we came from and after 3-3, nothing much I want to say. Of course there are a lot of things. We play a really good game, but in that level we cannot give them away. So at the end, when this time of game, another environment, so that don't happen. But in this environment now happen.
When you look at the table now, as we do with this new Champions League format, it's 8 points. They're saying maybe 16 gets you into the top 8. Do you consider that now, and the need to win maybe your final 3 games?
Right now, it's not ready to think about that. So I have to recover, prepare the next games, is think about what's going to happen in the future, what do you have to do, but we are not able to win against like today. It's difficult to do it.
So now, in the next few days, obviously a big game at Anfield. What's your priority going to be?
The rest, 1 or 2 days, clear mentally and think of the next.
Yes, thank you. Nathan, you've seen a few things in football at this club, but how do you sum up tonight?
Yeah, difficult. 3-0 up, actually. Yeah, I think we played quite well, under control, but yeah, then it all changed.
We could see Pep's frustration when that first goal was conceded, real pain. Was there a sense at that point this could get away from us?
Well, I think at that point you just have to stay strong mentally. I think after the 3-1, obviously they push on. I think maybe we have to go forward a bit earlier so we keep the pressure on them. But I think we stayed playing at the back and maybe invited more pressure on us. And then of course when you concede the second one, then is even more pressure, and I think we have to stay mentally more strong now.
Yeah, I wonder if City gave that game away. Would that be a fair comment?
Yeah, I think we did. If you're 3-0 up at home, I think you can never give it away like this. But it is what it is at the moment. The only thing we can do now is fight back and stay strong.
It's not a defeat. You've ended that run, but does it feel like a defeat, the way this game has been lost?
Yeah, I think the way... Obviously, as you said, when you're 3-0 up, it feels like a defeat when you give it away 3 goals at home. But look, it's tough now. It's tough night. But the only thing we can do now is look forward to the next one. It's Liverpool. It's a big game, and it's another challenge we have to overcome.
Is it a mental thing above all?
Well, maybe it's difficult to say. I think obviously we've not been many times in these situations now. But this is where we have to show our character, when everything seemed to go against us and, everyone writing us off. I think we have to stay strong mentally and believe in ourselves and stay together.
And potentially those noises get louder now, don't they, as you head towards Liverpool? The writing City off narrative.
Yeah. But to be fair, that's every season. I think there's a period where people write us off. So we just have to make sure we stay strong together as a team, the staff, everyone together, and make sure we get out of it.
It wasn't to be. Can you explain that, Stuart Pearce, what you just saw there?
I've been in this stadium many times over the last few years, and I've been wowed by what I've seen, and I've been wowed again tonight. This is an incredible result. It really is. That'll feel like a defeat. I don't know what the dressing room will be like in there, the City dressing room, but they'll be taking this like a defeat. There is no doubt about that. Quite incredible.
They were cruising. They looked like they were on easy street. And after his second goal, there was a chance for Erling Haaland to get his hat-trick, wasn't there? And you're thinking it's going to come. This is the night where we realise that, you know, he isn't human after all. And then the capitulation. What did you see, Josie?
I still find myself shaking my head because I think it's unbelievable. But we have to believe it because we saw it, and every mistake we were talking about in, you know, before the match, during the match, it happened. So if we're talking about the defense, giving away small presents, you know, easy balls, putting your line in a very smooth way and compact and moving it together, not happening in the second half. So everything we are talking about, counter-attack, it happens. So if I would have to choose if that's a win or, you know, in a small little win for the future, I would go yes, because he has to tell this story. He has to put it around in the locker room. But it would feel very different if it's 0-0. And then you take away something, you know.
I know you didn't think Feyenoord could get back into it. You said as much in the first half chat that we had. You felt that City had that in the grasp of their hand. The game was theirs to win.
I'm lost for words. And you can play the game again. You can talk about what just happened, but you win games and you lose game in both boxes. And going forward, you need to be creative and you need to give them the freedom. But defensively, there are things that are just rules for defenders, how to defend. And so much we spoke with Stuart, where if there's no pressure on the ball, you cannot have your line flat so high. You can, if it's your philosophy, but you need to make sure that you have the legs to cover. And we've seen, like we've said, every single details that we spoke about before the game are actually happening. You know, those details, mistakes happen in the game. So from a very comfortable game, 3-0 up, everybody's going comfortable home, going back home very comfortable, thinking about the game against Liverpool. Well, you find yourself in a situation where you haven't lost the game, but it will feel like a defeat. It will definitely feel like a defeat.
It's the first time since 1989 they've done that they've been 3-0 up and ended up drawing a game, and actually only the second English team in the Champions League to do that, behind Arsenal in 2014 against Anderlecht and Liverpool in 2017 against Seville. So, you know, these are records that Pep Guardiola doesn't want. He doesn't want to be in a situation where suddenly we're talking about a team. I think pre-match perhaps everybody felt Feyenoord was the perfect team for them to just to settle the nerves ahead of Liverpool at the weekend, get themselves a comfortable victory. Does this start to go into a different level of concern for you now, the way they lost that? Sorry, the way they lost that lead. It feels like a defeat, doesn't it?
I mean, all the things we spoke about before the game, the high line, defensive mistakes, frailties at the back, individual errors, they all were evident in the second half, and that's what's cost Manchester City. Alan mentioned in commentary, you've got to see the game out. You've got to play the game as it is. When you're 2 and 3-0 up, you've got to see the game out. City are looking for the 4th and the 5th and whatever, and all of a sudden, you've got to say credit to Feyenoord. They kept going and kept going and got a point out of this, and their fans are celebrating like they've won the Champions League.
Well, they've got this really impressive away record. We talked to the manager, Brian Prisker, didn't we, ahead of the game. He said they just couldn't quite get those results at home, but they're not finding it any kind of trouble at all on the road, are they, this season?
Absolutely. And I really, really think they deserve some credit. Yeah. But also, for me, it's like they get so many presents from City. I mean, presents, but so many presents from City that they made them strong. And then it's not easy, but they made the runs and they were in the box. Mainly, I think that's the part in the 17th minute, 18th minute, like you have to do those runs, and they did, and they deserved the goals. But also, you cannot deny that this is not a mental problem. It's having and bringing the desire, you said this earlier, bringing the desire until it's not needed anymore. And then react a little bit sloppy, and I think this is a mental thing, and you cannot deny this.
No, you go with that?
Yeah, 2 of the goals that they scored, out of the 3 goals are goals given by City, mistakes that you can actually avoid. So there are room for improvement, and this is a good thing. Obviously, when you don't win a game, there's always room for improvement. But for me, the worry part is that you cannot keep continuing making individual mistakes, because you can play as good as you want, you can do as much as you want, but if your player individually are failing on some situation, then things like tonight will happen. And this is what we've seen over the last 5-6 games now.
And even in this 6-game run, sometimes you have go on a 6-game run where you're not doing well and you're chasing the game all the time. City have been in the lead in Sporting. They were 1-0 up. Down at Brighton, I think they were 1-0 up. They were 3-0 up today. And they've managed to draw and get beaten, which normally statistically, if you study the stats, if you go 1-0 up in games, you've got 70% chance of winning, let alone...
Welcome back to Gillette Soccer Special. Can't quite believe what's happened in the last 15 minutes at the Etihad. Manchester City easing to a 3-0 win, back to winning ways against Feyenoord. They've drawn it 3-3, capitulating in the final 15 minutes. We'll talk with our panel all about that and what is going on at the Etihad very shortly. Let's start there by wrapping up the results out of the tables in the Champions League. And this is how the table looks after tonight. Of course, a whole load more games tomorrow. It's Inter Milan who now lead the way. Barcelona up to second on 12 points. Liverpool, who play tomorrow. Atalanta going great guns. Big win for them tonight. Leverkusen, Monaco, Arsenal after their big win in Portugal in 7th, and Sporting, who they beat tonight in 8th. Remember, the 8 on the left there qualify automatically for the last 16. The teams in the middle there in the knockout round go through to those playoffs, which includes Aston Villa, who play tomorrow, Bayern Munich, who won tonight to climb up to 11th, AC Milan, Manchester City with that draw only in 15th place, and Celtic, who play tomorrow, in 18th. And then in the elimination zone, so these teams here would be out of Europe completely if it finishes like that, includes PSG on 4 points, who lost again tonight. They're there. RB Leipzig still to get off the mark as well. So that's how it's standing in the Champions League. But Manchester City in only 15th on 8 points after 5 games, and still with some work to do to avoid having to go into a playoff. Right, let's just try and digest what happened at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 3, Feyenoord 3. City were 3 up with 15 minutes to go. The Feyenoord players celebrating with their fans at the end as if they'd won the Champions League. Tim Sherwood watched it. How did City throw that away, Tim?
Difficult to explain. They were in cruise control. It looked like a perfect evening for them. Haaland had scored from the penalty spot at half-time. Gundogan scores the second one from a good left-footed volley on the edge of the box, sends them 2-0 up, and then Haaland again scores. So you think, perfect evening if they can keep a clean sheet here, because they need a clean sheet. They need some. Didn't look like there was any trouble. De Bruyne comes on for 25 minutes. Looking at the weekend, you would have thought all of a sudden Guardiola, who looks like he's put his fingerprints are over every goal, pretty much every goal they conceded of recent times. You've got to take him out the firing line. But the trouble he's got, Pep, is that who do you put in there? Nathan Ake, I would suggest, against Saka at the weekend if Diaz is fit, but he's running out of players in defensive areas because of the injuries. He is not having a good time of it. He looks shattered, the guy. So the momentum just shifted from there. He tried to back pass it to Ederson. He got intercepted by Hadj Moussa and he scores from a tight angle. But then, even in jest, I said, game on. Didn't believe it was actually real. There could be a game on. But the way they defended, the capitulation of the players and the lack of control what they had in the game, just throwing bodies forward rather than just killing the game off and just getting the maximum points and taking some sort of confidence with a win in the Champions League into the game at the weekend. And we know it's a must-win game for them now at the weekend. It just slid away from them. And there was more mistakes from Ederson again and Guardiola. Just lost total control of a game which was won. At 3-0, a Man City side at home to a team like Feyenoord who really didn't have the quality to hurt them. They was gifted goals by Man City today, and hence why they've taken a point out of the game.
17 goals conceded in their last 6 matches, Clinton. 17 in 6. This is Manchester City. Where does this leave them ahead of Liverpool on Sunday?
Under big pressure. We spoke before the show about getting a result and going into that Liverpool game full of confidence. At 3-0, you're thinking they could go and make it 4, 5 and 6 and get... But a clean sheet was the most important thing, and you could see I was at my game on, but as soon as Guardiola gave that first one, Pep had his hands in his head in his hands, because he's thinking, I didn't want to concede a goal. Yeah. And then it gives Feyenoord the lift, and then they go again and they get the second one and they get the third one. They have a problem defending. They want to keep this high line and they want the goalkeeper to come out, Ederson. And Edison comes out, he makes a big, huge mistake. He's got to do better than that. They have a problem. They're struggling at the moment to defend as a unit. Mazza said it at the start. Players are running in behind. People are not tracking their runners. They're all over the place at the back at the moment. So it's worrying times. And you go and play like that against Liverpool, against Salah, Diaz. And if I'm Liverpool, I'm definitely starting Núñez through the middle because you leave that much space in behind. Darwin Núñez wants to run in behind, so they're so open at the moment. It wouldn't surprise you if they go to Liverpool and keep a clean sheet, would it? That's what I'm saying with Man City at the moment. But if they defend like that...
But it would surprise you on current form, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, I'm just thinking to myself, the way they're playing at the moment, you think they're going to be open. Surely Pep will go with a game plan to say, we can't be open like that. Because you know, if the fullback goes, Salah's going to stay up, and once Liverpool break, they'll go in behind. So there is problems there at the moment.
To be fair, there is a bonus, though. They've stopped the rot, haven't they? That's the only
They didn't lose it, you mean?
Yeah. So stop the rot, and it might just cushion the.
But it'll feel like a defeat, won't it? I mean, I know you're joking. I know, but it will feel like a defeat.
Yeah, definitely. I think going into, well, you can see the reaction from the players there, can't you? Sheer frustration from being 3-0 up at home as well. Yeah. You know, you're just thinking to yourself, could that be even worse for Man City? I mean, to be 3-0 up and not come away without a win. And concede the goals in that manner, the way they have done recently, it's very similar.
It goes back to protection, though, doesn't it? Of having someone in front of your back four that's just policing that area and stopping those through balls, even blocking runners that are coming through. And we spoke about at the top of the show. I mean, you joked, didn't you, Tim, I said about the three midfielders and you can run all over them. And you even said, like, not Feyenoord, but teams from Holland are coming over and doing it. Do you know what I mean? So there's, like, almost a blueprint of how to beat Manchester City. And if anything, the former Liverpool style under Klopp would probably suit playing against City a little bit more than this slightly more controlled Arne Slot Liverpool. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But if Liverpool want to go for the jugular, then this is the time to do it.
Manchester City are the first team in Champions League history to be leading a match by 3 goals as late as the 75th minute and fail to go on to win it. And we talk about City, and control is the word that Tim used. You're so used to seeing City control it and just lacked it in that final 15 minutes. Quite incredible. We'll have more reaction on that a little bit later on Sky Sports News. Let's just finish with a final word on a positive word for Arsenal fans. An away win in Europe, and how, Clinton Morrison?
Yeah, I know we ain't got a lot of time, but they were fantastic. They were brilliant from start to finish. You saw Man City go to Sporting Lisbon and struggle. The thing with Arsenal is they capitalised in the first half and they were outstanding. In the second half, as soon as Sporting got back into it, Arsenal took it up another gear. When you have Odegaard in your team, Arsenal are a total different team. That was their best 11 that they played tonight, and they thoroughly showed it. So they're in good form. Don't rule Arsenal out of the title race. What a great show it's been this evening, Joe.
Enjoyed it, Clinton?
Very good.
Good to get your seal of approval, thank you.
Good company.
Good.
Thank you.
Hope you agree at home. Thank you very much to all of you. To Glenn, to Lee, to Clinton, and to Tim as well. Thanks for your company.